I saw 50 was talking about something like that in an interview recently. I hate when I think back to that time where I was at in life.
I watched 50, same. 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had.
So they don't give you the trophies. I got the checks. I didn't get the trophies. Jay got all of my trophies, man, because he signed that contract.
What contract?
The one with Beyonce.
When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. He started getting Grammys left and right, man.
The kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing. Right. They don't rap yet.
And he ain't show up. He's like 20 now.
Yeah, you what's the science? What's today's mathematics?
Yeah, by the way, this isn't even my chain. I stole it from somebody. Yeah, I'll tell y'all who that was.
Uh-oh. Stealing chains now?
Not really stealing.
Does it mean anything to you, though?
Yeah, a little bit.
So, you know, you got a lot of people who are not really happy about the fact that, you know, my album is about to drop. You know, they're not really happy about, you know, Lord, give me a sign. And, you know, we in here and, you know, things of that nature. But you know what?
Eminem is once again stirring the pot, and this time, he's not holding back when it comes to Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Em has not only backed 50 Cent in his ongoing feud with the Carters, but he's also gone deep into how Jay and Beyoncé have allegedly sabotaged and ruined multiple black artists' careers. And let's not forget that Eminem already stood up to Jay-Z once after Jay tried to block 50 from performing at the Super Bowl. Eminem's sis now sharing his frustrations about the power dynamics in the industry, claiming that major artists use dirty tactics to suppress anyone they see as competition. And when it comes to the Carters, the list of talented artists whose careers they allegedly sabotaged includes everyone from those who are no longer with us, like Big L, DMX, and Aaliyah, to artists who simply faded from the spotlight with no explanation, like Amerie or Perry Hilson. But the real question is, why are some of the biggest names in hip-hop like Eminem and 50 speaking out now? Could it be that the Carters' empire is finally starting to crack? And who are all the artists Jay-Z and Beyoncé supposedly blackballed and eliminated? Let's break it down.
I know what you did to Nas, Jay. That's tough. Nah, he come out on the same weekend.
Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop it.
When is shit coming out? My shit coming out.
I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on time.
Why the you do that, man? I be saying that I do whatever the fuck I want to do, and they be looking at me like I'm grimy for doing that. Just to be super quiet doing some real grimy.
Eminem might not be as vocal when it comes to social media trolling as 50 Cent, but he's made it clear that he has zero respect for artists who use their power and influence to hold others back while boosting themselves up, and that includes Jay-Z and Beyoncé. And for him, this isn't just industry politics, it's personal. See, 50 Cent is one of M's closest friends. In fact, they consider each other family at this point, and 50 even admitted he cried at the wedding of Eminem's daughter Haley last year.
I know you put out a statement and you posted a picture, but yo, that video with Marshall and Haley.
This is so crazy. There was points that we was receiving wow offers. Like they'll go, 50 Cent Eminem, this is out for tour opportunities. He would go, nah, I just don't want to go and come back and she's grown.
I don't want to miss my daughter, man.
Right, and I'm like, yo, because I was like, yo, you didn't hear how much money they just had? Why do you want to stay here? I didn't understand it when he was saying it, but then later, like, I went to a wedding, and I'm like, yo, now I get it. Because that was fast, bro.
Marshall's a grandfather, man.
That's the part I was dealing with, because I'm like, I'm old as hell. I'm like, what the hell happened to me? I'm still in the gym, it just hurts a little, bro. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still there. I'm looking going, what the hell happened? Man.
Now going back to Jay-Z, 50 and Jay have had a long-standing beef with no end in sight, and knowing how loyal M is, it's safe to assume he doesn't have much love for Jay either. After all, 50 has always said that if you rock with his enemies, then you're automatically his enemy too.
But the keep showing up next to things that I don't fuck with. That's an indication to me he might have some feelings towards me. That is just everywhere I got an issue. He show up around me. So, I mean, you don't forget music, because music ain't usually my motivation. My morals come off the curb. So if you see a keep being around, nigga, when he come around, how your antennas go. So he in a position where he might feel like he did, but he ain't dead yet.
Now, Eminem and Jay did work together on a few tracks in the early 2000s, but everything changed once M found out that Jay had been making snaky moves behind the scenes to sabotage 50's career. So back in 2023, 50 put Jay-Z on blast, claiming that Jay tried to block him from performing at the Super Bowl by pulling strings with his NFL connections. However, Jay's plan backfired because Eminem wasn't having it. According to 50, N stood up for him and told Jay and the NFL that he would only perform if 50 was part of the lineup.
Look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You start looking at that's not mine. That's theirs. They harbor it, right? But when you look at M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like I'm a shady aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like, it do so much G-Unit Records.
Right.
They forget that I'm M and Dre's artist.
On top of that, 50 and Eminem have teamed up to put the Carters on blast for allegedly using sneaky tactics to win Grammys. 50 has openly called out Jay for using his marriage to Beyonce to secure wins, while N has been saying for years that the Grammys are corrupt and all about pay to play. In fact, M has made it clear he thinks the whole thing is a scam, and he even promised to never show up to the Grammys again.
You have a few Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? You know, and that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
Which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now.
Eminem explained that he wouldn't care about losing if the other artist actually dropped a better album. But what got to him is how the Grammys used him for clout, hyping him up like he had a real shot at winning just to boost ratings, only to snub him in the end.
I watched 50, same 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had. And then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever, I'm fine if I lose to Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't get us all here to use your selling point for your show and stiff everybody every single time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I go to the Grammys.
And when asked if he'd ever consider going back if he had a say in the voting process, M said it wouldn't make a difference either way because at the end of the day, the whole thing is rigged and the votes don't even matter.
Did you ever consider, joining a board and maybe you have a vote in it?
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. This got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. Like, it ain't about always what you sell. I get that, Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to Lada Dottie. Who? Lada Dottie. It's only Lada Dottie.
Meanwhile, 50 didn't just call the Grammys rigged. He took it a step further, saying Jay's wins have way more to do with his marriage than his actual talent. According to Feud, the recording of Chattanooga knows that as long as Jay and Beyonce show up, the ratings go through the roof. So to keep them coming, they keep handing them nominations and awards.
It's when he started to receive the 16 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them the things they would. Later, to me, I didn't care about trophies. I said, I'll get the checks.
But Feud didn't stop there. During his recent sit down on the Flagrant podcast, he doubled down on his claims that all those Grammys Jay won over the years have way more to do with Beyonce than his own talent. He even took it a step further, calling the Carters' marriage a contract and suggesting that Jay and Beyonce might just be staying together to protect their brand and keep their careers on top.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he didn't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was
At
one.
the same time.
After that, he's like drinking. His pictures with him like things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got. Oh, wow. So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Then, in a recent interview on Talk with Fleeing with Cameron, 50 once again put Jay on blast, accusing him of still playing dirty and pulling shady moves, not just in music, but in business too. What's even crazier is that 50 said that Jay has nothing left to prove, and yet he's still out here trying to sabotage 50's deals out of pure spite.
This is why I was saying I knew what old boy was doing with the Super Bowl. Because he was doing like... Yeah, go ahead. He was doing some wild because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? Why don't I have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance? Right? Makes no sense. You know what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says old boy for the audience, that they're talking about Jay-Z. This was discussed before. Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened.
Possibly. Not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from like our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It just don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? What's the goal? Like this even like a lot of the even a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? It changed. That terminology changed when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment. When before that they called it babbling in our culture. Because that's what it is until it turns into some street shit. So when you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem?
you can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what went through with Joe.
But 50 Cent isn't the only artist Jay allegedly tried to undermine out of pure jealousy and spite. Jay-Z has faced allegations of sabotaging his peers for years, and these claims go way back to the late Big L, the Harlem legend who actually put Jay on. Fans have speculated that Jay's rise to the top wasn't always by the book, especially considering the suspicious circumstances surrounding Big L's death. Back in the early 90s, Big L was a local legend in Harlem's underground hip-hop scene, known for his insane freestyle skills. In 1992, Big L signed with Columbia Records, and his debut album dropped the next year. And although the album was a success, Columbia dropped him less than a year later, supposedly over some creative differences. But Big L wasn't about to quit. He started his own independent label, Flamboyant Entertainment, and began working on his second album. And that's when he caught the attention of Rockefeller co-founder Dame Dash, who was interested in possibly finding Big L and his crew as a group. But just as things were about to pop off, tragedy struck. Big L was tragically shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Harlem. But here's where things get sketchy. Gerard Woodley, one of Big L's childhood friends, was arrested in connection with the murder, but there wasn't enough evidence to hold him, so he was released. Now fast forward to 2016, and Gerard was also shot and killed in Harlem. And to this day, Big L's murder remains unsolved. But if you ask some industry whistleblowers like Jaguar Wirt, Jay-Z is the only one who knows exactly who took out Big L.
Tell everybody about Big L, Sean.
Big L?
I would just rather do it on the stand, Sean. Please sue me. I want to go to court. And I want to talk about Big L on the stand.
Wow.
Big L is the one that put Jay-Z on. Jay-Z was the last person to see Big L alive. His death made it possible for Reasonable Doubt to live.
Whoa.
See how good I keep secrets, Sean?
Now let's talk about another rap legend who passed under suspicious circumstances after calling out Jay-Z for trying to sabotage him, the late DMX. After DMX passed in April 2021, Jay-Z appeared on LeBron James's show and said that even though X had some competitive energy towards him, there was always love between them.
So there was a competitive thing, but it was big love. He was so competitive with me. I never met a human being more competitive with me, like ever, not even my big brother.
But every DMX fan knows this couldn't be further from the truth. And that's because DMX himself said it was actually Jay who was so insanely competitive and jealous that he sabotaged the release of X's 6th studio album. Back in 2004, Jay-Z became the president of Def Jam Records, taking over from Lear Cullen, and that's when things started to shift. DMX had been holding it down for Def Jam, dropping 5 straight #1 albums from 1998 to 2003. But once Jay stepped into the president's chair, X claimed Jay started messing with the release of his 6th album, Year of the Dog, again.
You know, like I said, I had the crazy track record, Def Jam, everything was good. You know, I go to do the 6th album, and you know,
Jay-Z became president.
Yeah. You know, when he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, yo, dog, inmates is running the building, like, yo, you good? Finish the album, shoot the video. What happened? Go on vacation and, you know, we don't know. What you mean you don't know? How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know?
So according to DMX, after Jay changed his mind about Red Reminisce, he was determined to make sure no rivals were standing in his way to reclaim the top spot.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again. Okay.
By the way, something similar happened to Beanie Siegel, who also faced drama with Jay-Z over his album releases. After Beanie had dropped several successful projects and was on his way to becoming a major player in the Rockefeller camp, things took a turn. According to Beanie and those close to him, when Jay saw Beanie rising in popularity, he became worried that Beanie might overshadow him, so he started messing with the release of Beanie's albums. And that's not all. Jay was also allegedly pulling other sneaky moves, like dropping his albums right around the same time as Beanie's, and only allowing Beanie to sell a limited amount of records.
I don't think one man can destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. like I said, legal issues at the time. And, you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top of me. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe.
Now, some people might say the stories about Jay-Z sabotaging other artists are just a case of sour grapes. But see, when nearly all of your peers who've been by your side for years are saying the same thing, it makes you wonder who the real problem is. I mean, Jay even turned on Kanye West after claiming they were like family for years. And get this, Kanye later hinted that Jay might even have someone sent to take him out.
Beyonce, I was hurt. Because I heard that you said you wouldn't perform unless you won Video of the Year over me and over Hot Line Bling. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head.
However, that didn't stop Kanye from calling out both Jay and Beyonce as industry puppets.
They try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize
They
you.
can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
No, not you, man.
But they can't control me. You
Not
see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name. It's up.
Speaking of Beyonce, as much as she likes to market herself as a symbol of female empowerment, there have been multiple allegations that she's been involved in sabotaging other female artists. To give you a few examples, there's been a ton of rumors about Beyonce being jealous of the late Aaliyah. And it wasn't just because of Aaliyah's talent and beauty, but also because before Jay-Z ended up with Beyonce, he was obsessed with Aaliyah. In fact, according to Dame Dash, Jay was going all out trying to get with Aaliyah, but she wasn't having it. And that's when Beyonce entered the picture and things took a darn turn. See, Jay and Beyonce went public with their relationship in 2001, just months after Aaliyah's tragic death in a mysterious plane crash in the Bahamas.
Kingsley Russell, who was 13 at the time, was in the car that drove Aaliyah and her team to the airport for their return flight to Miami. According to Kingsley Russell, they took her out of the van and she didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane. Russell says she went on that airplane asleep.
But either with Aaliyah out of the picture, Beyonce's rumored obsession with eliminating and sabotaging her competition didn't end. Right after Beyonce left Destiny's Child and started dating Jay-Z, reports surfaced that Jay stole producer Rich Harrison from Amerie, another talented artist Beyonce was allegedly threatened by. And if you remember a Miss 2005 hit One Thing, then you know that track is basically the original Cravey in Love.
Where you been, Amerie?
I've been out in the like the universe. No, I've
Talk
been.
about your career. Everybody always says Amerie should have been a superstar. Because she's pretty, she could dance, she could sing. What happened?
It's,
What do
you
you
know
think?
what it is? It's timing. Like everything is timing. Like I'm a big believer in timing.
And then, of course, there was that whole situation with Carrie Hilson, who got into a very public feud with Beyonce after her producers allegedly set her up to record a diss track about Beyonce, hoping to get her canceled. While Carrie denied she was throwing shade, things took another turn when she was accused of shading Beyonce again after she refused a reporter's request to hold a magazine with Beyonce and Jay-Z on the cover.
You want to hold the magazine? Just shout out Juicy Mac.
This sparked a massive backlash against Carrie, with Beyonce's fans going into full attack mode, even allegedly physically confronting her in the streets. Fast forward to 2020, and Carrie admitted that she was pressured into releasing that diss track, and she also revealed that she was getting serious threats because of it.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats, and those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this.
Meanwhile, celebrity bodyguard Uncle Ron, who passed away last November from pneumonia, also called out Beyonce and Jay-Z, claiming they sabotaged multiple artists on their way to the top.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you.
Now, this list of artists Jay-Z and Beyoncé allegedly sabotaged, blackballed, or straight up eliminated is way too long to fit into just one video. And while their fans might argue it's all just jealousy, the fact that major artists like 50 Cent and Eminem are calling out the Carters makes it hard to ignore. And at this point, it's starting to look like a pattern. But what's your take on this? Are these just rumors, or is there some truth to it? Do you think Jay-Z and Beyoncé really sabotaged other artists to eliminate the competition? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't miss out on this next video.